History Pulse here. Let's talk about courage. What does it look like? Is it a soldier on a battlefield? A firefighter rushing into a burning building? Yes, absolutely. But sometimes, courage is smaller. Sometimes, it's the size of a 6-year-old girl. Picture this. New Orleans. A little girl named Ruby Bridges is about to do something extraordinary. She is going to walk into a school. It sounds simple, right? We all do it, but this wasn't just any school. It was William Francie Elementary, an all-white school. And Ruby, a bright, brave 6-year-old, was about to become its first African-American student. This wasn't a choice she made lightly. It was the result of a landmark Supreme Court decision, Brown versus Board of Education, which had declared segregation in public schools unconstitutional 6 years earlier. But a court ruling and reality are two very different things. Across the South, resistance was fierce. In New Orleans, the school board was forced to create an entrance exam for black students wanting to attend white schools. The test was designed to be incredibly difficult, a way to keep the old system in place. Out of 137 students who took that test, only 6 passed. Ruby was one of them. 2 of those students decided to stay at their old school. 3 were transferred to another school, McDonough No. 19. That left Ruby all alone. She was the only one assigned to William Francie Elementary. Her first day was November 14th, 1960. Imagine being 6 years old, putting on your best dress, your hair neatly done, ready for school. But instead of school buses and laughing children, you're met with a storm of hate. That's what Ruby faced. Her mother, Lucille, later said she had no idea what they were walking into. They were driven to the school by federal marshals. When they arrived, the scene was chaotic. Huge crowds of angry white protesters were gathered, shouting, screaming, and throwing things. They held signs with hateful messages. They were there to stop this little girl from getting an education. They were there to protect a world of division and inequality. The local police were there, but the crowd was so hostile that U.S. federal marshals had to escort Ruby and her mother. She walked alone. Think about that. Surrounded by grown men in suits, she walked past a sea of twisted, furious faces. They were screaming threats, not just at her, but at her family. She was just a child. But in that moment, she was shouldering the weight of history. She later said she thought it was Mardi Gras, because there were so many people shouting. That's the innocence of a child, trying to make sense of a world that made no sense. Once inside, the chaos didn't stop. It just changed form. Parents rushed to the school to pull their children out. Classrooms emptied. Every single white parent at William Francie Elementary, except for one, withdrew their children. They would rather their kids get no education than share a classroom with a black child. So, on her first day, Ruby didn't go to a classroom. She spent the entire day in the principal's office, watching parents march their children away. The next day she walked past the hateful crowds again, and again. Every single day. But this time something else was different. Oh, but one of the teachers refused to teach her. Her teacher was a woman named Barbara Henry. Mrs. Henry had just moved from Boston and was a new teacher at the school. She was the only one willing to teach Ruby. So, for an entire year, Ruby Bridges was in a class of 1. Just her and Mrs. Henry in an empty classroom in an almost empty school. They did not. They read, they even played games. Mrs. Henry became her teacher, her friend, her protector within those 4 walls. She created a small bubble of normalcy in a world of absolute madness. Outside, the pressure on Ruby's family was immense. Her father, Aban, lost his job as a gas station attendant. Her sharecropping grandparents were turned off their land. The local grocery store refused to sell to her mother. The family was ostracized, punished for seeking a right that was legally theirs. But the community, both black and white, rallied neighbors helped guard their house. People from all over the country sent letters of support and even money to help them get by. One person, A child psychiatrist named Robert Coles volunteered to provide counseling for Ruby during her first year. He would meet with her, talk to her, and help her process the trauma she was enduring. He later wrote a book about her, a testament to her resilience. Ruby's walk became a daily ritual of defiance. Every morning, she would put on her brave face and walk past the hate. One day, her teacher, Mrs. Henry, saw her pause in front of the screaming crowd and move her lips. She thought Ruby was talking back to them. But later, Ruby explained, she wasn't talking to them. She was praying for them. Please God, try to forgive these people, because even if they say those bad things, they don't know what they're doing. A 6-year-old girl, facing down pure hatred, and her response was to pray for the very people who were tormenting her. If that isn't the definition of grace, I don't know what is. Slowly, things began to change. The next year, a few more black students enrolled in the school. The mobs outside eventually dwindled. Some of the white families started to bring their children back. It wasn't an instant transformation, but it was a start. Ruby's lonely walk had paved the way. She had broken the barrier. Her story is a powerful reminder that courage doesn't need age. It doesn't require physical strength or a loud voice. Sometimes, the most profound acts of bravery are quiet, determined, and come from the smallest among us. Ruby Bridges didn't set out to be a hero. She was just a little girl who wanted to go to school, but in her simple, unwavering persistence, she became a symbol of the civil rights movement. Her walk past hate was a walk towards a better future. A future where schools would be for everyone, regardless of the color of their skin. Her image, immortalized in Norman Rockwell's famous painting, The Problem We All Live With, shows this small, determined girl in a white dress, flanked by marshals, with the thrown tomato splattered on the wall behind her. It's an image of innocence confronted by prejudice, of bravery in the face of bigotry. Today, Ruby Bridges is an author, a speaker, and an activist. She runs the Ruby Bridges Foundation, dedicated to promoting tolerance, respect, and appreciation of all differences. She still tells her story, not for fame, but to ensure that we never forget. To remind us that the fight for equality is ongoing, and that each of us has a role to play. The story of Ruby Bridges is more than just a history lesson. It's a lesson in humanity. It teaches us about the ugliness of prejudice, but also about the incredible strength of the human spirit. It shows that one small person, armed with courage and dignity, can indeed change the world. She walked alone so that millions of children after her wouldn't have to. So next time you think you're too small to make a difference, remember Ruby Bridges. Remember that 6-year-old girl who walked into a white-only school. She walked alone. She walked past hate. And in doing so, she walked all of us a little closer to a more just and equal world. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as inspiring as I did, please like, subscribe, and share. Let's keep these important stories alive. See you next time on History Pulse.